It's exciting to be with you today. I'm hoping that each of you will help me start a wider community conversation about accessing personalised music in every bedroom, in every care centre in this country. For over 20 years, I've been a funeral celebrant. And after 50 years in education, I've had many calls that say, Pauline, could we meet for a coffee, a meal, a walk? After the small talk, the bombshell. I've been diagnosed with a terminal illness. I want you to take my funeral. If I ever have to go into care, will you make sure I've got my personal music? It means everything to me. As I visited these friends in the months that followed, I realized there was no easy way to access music in their bedrooms. For all of us, or most of us, music is an integral part of our lives. Surely it's good practice when health is deteriorating and death is near, that you have the option of music in the bedroom. Of course, it's unacceptable for anyone, including all our senior citizens who are lying in care in our rest homes, not to have music at the final stages of life. And I realized at the same time that this is a conversation we need to start now. You, right now at morning tea, say to the person beside you, what music do you like? And you'll be surprised at the answer. Because we can't presume that we know what other people would like. A long-standing friend of mine has been singing opera and teaching opera all her life. Recently I asked her what she would like if she was lying in care and close to death. And I presumed she would say a piece of opera. This was her choice.
I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike.
I'd like to share two recent experiences with you that really touched my heart. A friend and I entered the convent at the same time, but where I became a member of a teaching order of nuns, she joined an order of strict silence and discipline and prayer. For 55 years, she's been singing sacred music, playing sacred music, listening to sacred music, and writing sacred music. Recently, she had to leave her place of care and go into a mental health facility. There was no music. There was no music in her bedroom. A good friend contacted me because her mum had been in a lock-up care facility for Alzheimer's for 15 months. Over that time, she had become very aggressive, screaming, lashing out at her daughter. I asked her daughter where her mum was born. She said, Tipperary. I began to play It's a Long Way to Tipperary, quietly at first, and then turned the volume up in between screams. Suddenly, the room went silent. Then she started mouthing the words, and she sang along with all the words right through the song. At the end of it, she turned to her daughter and said, "Darling, I'm sorry. I'm scared. Get me out of here." Music stopped her screaming. She died peacefully 2 weeks later, listening to, or not listening perhaps, but familiar music was playing. Dr. Vasant Talad is a world-famous Ayurvedic doctor from the East. And he says Chanting awakens the DNA in the cells. There is an awakening triggered in their cellular memories. I am seeing this in my work with people who have personalized music in their bedrooms in our culture. I have a long-time friend from a lifetime who has been in care for 9 years. Her family and her grandchildren continue to be bewildered, broken, wishing they could talk to someone else their own age. The grandchildren say to me, if only I could talk to somebody my age. Because nobody talks about Nana anymore. Nobody goes to visit Nana anymore. Nana's in that place. I know there are ways that we can involve these young children, senior citizens, and senior students at school with our senior citizens. I would now like to share the story of my lifelong friendship with Pauline. I didn't know this would happen. Pauline never got the chance to plan her personalized playlist. I wonder what she would have wanted. Happy birthday, Pauline. It's 60 years today. You danced and sang at my farewell. So vital, so alive. I'd never heard a voice like yours. I wanted to be like you. That day too, we had so much fun around the piano. You tried to teach us the Irish jig. We all fell about laughing, made so much noise acting the goat that the cows came up to the fence, so curious. After the sing-along, we went for a walk among the cows. The mountains were magnificent. You wanted to talk?
You're far too young to be entering the convent.
I'm 17. Left school last month.
Why don't you wait? Get a job first.
The priest said, God is calling me. Dad said I must obey the priest.
You're 17.
And I'm flying to Australia tomorrow. Before you left the party, you sang Danny Boy just for me. You hugged me tight.
Never hesitate to call, day or night.
Oh, Pauline, I'm going to be a nun forever. Oh, Col, you may have been right. The mountains and hills back home constantly called me. I was homesick. Blackie, the convent cow, gave me solace. The beautiful singing in the chapel gave me solace. It reminded me of you and Danny Boy. It's you must go, and I must bide. For 12 years I immersed myself in convent life. I was a good nun. Poverty, chastity, obedience, I took those vows very seriously. I was naive. So when the unexpected happened, who was I to challenge the will of God? I trusted that priest, did what he said. One night in the chapel, broken, numb, shamed, I tried to sing with the other nuns. Lift thine eyes, oh, lift thine eyes to the mountains, whence cometh help.
Never hesitate to call, day or night.
Colleen, it's Pauline.
Pardon? Who?
Pauline. Sister Pauline.
Pauline! What is it?
Col, I'm frightened. May I come?
Of course. Come now.
Your shock was terrible when you saw me on your doorstep in that short, tight, knitted brown dress borrowed from my sister. Even more terrible was your response when I told you why I'd come.
No, I can never believe that.
Yet in the morning, it was you who took me out to buy clothes. You lent me money. You helped me find piano pupils so I could earn my own. You guided me into the real world. 15 months later, in your kitchen, I told you I was getting married.
Married? Oh, it's too soon. You're not ready.
Col, I'm going to be the best wife and mother forever.
You've been in a convent for 12 years. What would you know about marriage and children?
Oh, you were right, Col. I still thought of myself as a nun, even after I had 4 babies in 3 years and 9 months. You were such a help to me. Godmother to our first child. I loved that beach holiday you planned. We puzzled over that play called Doubt and pondered ideas in the Tibetan book of living and dying. Dying. Life or death. Which way would it go for our precious child, your godchild? You sang in the choir all afternoon. The Pope was in New Zealand. Thousands of people were clapping and cheering. You rushed to the hospital, full of joy. You waited with me till the surgery was over. You waited hour after hour after hour. It's 8 years, Col, since I rushed to your bedside. Col, what happened? You didn't reply. I took your hand and peered into your eyes. Colleen? Col? Col? Then I knew. The light was gone. 5 years after your stroke, amidst another of life's challenges, I ached to talk to you, but knew it wasn't possible. Instead, I drove to the beach to watch the sunrise. It was breathtaking. Caught up in its blinding light, I began to sing a song of you. I sang and danced madly on the beach. After lunch, I drove to the rest home to visit. You were still at the table, your head on your hands, your beautiful hair and a plate of cold baked beans. I tried to rouse you, told you stories of the family, read 3 of your favourite New Zealand poems, and John Masefield. I must go down to the seas again, the lonely sea and the sky. Nothing roused you. Staff said, it's not a good day, come back another time. Oh, Col. Oh, Pauline, let's do what we always did. We'll dance and sing and have a fling and do the Irish jig.
It's you.
You jumped up, unsteady, slowly turned and peered into my face. With your index and middle fingers, you pointed to my eyes.
It's you. It's you.
What to do? I kept singing. We'll dance and sing and have a fling and do the Irish jig. We'll act the goat and sing the notes that kept us on our feet. We'll sing those soaring opera sounds that flowed from you to me. We'll have a good old sing-along with all the family. Oh,
it's
Pauline,
you.
Oh,
it's
Pauline,
you.
let's do what we always did. Tennis was your passion, and cycling kept you fit. Catching up for tea and scones was always such a hit. The theatre, art and singing gave us new energy, laughing, sharing books with great hilarity. Oh, Pauline, let's do what we always did.
It's you.
Your life changed in a stroke. Our lives changed too. We had to see things differently. It was hard to do. Oh yes, we feel deep sadness, but nothing stays the same. Awesome, happy memories still smile just at your name. Oh, Pauline, let's do what we always did. We'll dance and sing and have a fling and do the Irish jig. Oh, we'll act the goat and sing the notes that kept us on our feet. We'll sing those soaring opera sounds that flowed from you to me. We'll have a good old sing-along with all the family. Oh, Pauline, let's do what we always did.
It's you. It's you.
The minute I stopped singing, you looked lost. Slowly sat down and put your head on your hands at the table. The staff were crying when I kissed you goodbye. Oh, Col, as a teenager, all I wanted was to dance and sing like you. Now all I want is to dance and sing our memories forever. The summer's gone and all the leaves are falling. It's you must go and I must bide. For too long, we've looked at people in care and have forgotten that they were just like you and me, that they lived a life. They're more than just a body that needs full-time care. They need their families around them. When I talked to Colleen's grandchildren, my thoughts flashed back 30 years ago, when as a family we were asked to speak to the National Stroke Conference. our children were asked to say what it was like for them when their sister had a stroke at age 10. The 11-year-old son got up first, scanned the audience, paused, and then said to 500 people, "I want you to know that we were neglected." That comment, and others, triggered me to go to university and research the impact of trauma on families where a child has a stroke. I worked with 30 families whose children had a stroke under the age of 15. 15. And now I look at what's happening in my world today, and I'd quite like to go to university and research the impact of trauma on families when a loved one goes into care. Pauline recently had to change to the 3rd rest home because of the change in the law from the government. When I went to see her in her new rest home, it had been such short notice and so chaotic, trying to find a bed. I picked up a photo of her mum and her sister, both long gone. Their names were Kathleen. And I said, "Oh, Col, I'll take you home again, Kathleen, today." And she mouthed the words, lying in the bed, looking like there was nothing. And then she joined the song. Then I realized that in all the chaos, the family had forgotten her music, her little CD player with her favorite music. I was upset. And I decided I'd just go and chat to the manager. And I said to her, "Would you be interested in ever starting a conversation about accessing personalised playlists in every bedroom of all these people in your care centre?" She said, "No, that is not anything we would consider, because we have these wonderful community programs and marvellous therapists who do individual and group work. We wouldn't consider it." I went out to the car, and I have to be honest, I cried. And I prayed that somehow doors would open and barriers would go down when we want to do something new. And I thought, "Pauline, what can you do? I don't know. I've got to hand it over. There must be a way." Within a week, I got a call saying that a friend was dying in Somerset, Hobsonville. I'd never been there before. In fact, I got lost on the way. As I came out of her room, there was the most beautiful rendition of Unforgettable, but it was the quality sound that got me. And I stopped, and I spoke to the resident, and I said, "How did you get that beautiful sound?" And he said, "Oh, don't understand it much, but my grandson, he gave me this mobile, and he put all the songs I like on it. And look, I just push this button, and all the songs come up." "Oh," he said, "look, there's Rock Round the Clock. We got married to that." And he pushed it, and he and I rocked around the bedroom. Well, I was a bit anxious about this, so I thought I'd better go and introduce myself to the manager. And her name is Carol Andrews. I said, "Look, I've just come to tell you that I've been rocking around the bedroom with one of your residents." And she said, "Well, who are you? And what are you doing here?" And I told her that you had invited me to speak. And she said, "Really? Would you like to come into my here in 2 days and talk to my staff?" I said, "Yes." Well, it was the most stimulating talk. I showed them the video that was much better than that, I might tell you, because it was synchronized. And some of them cried. Do you know that within 24 hours, Somerset, Hobsonville had initiated a new program so that every person who comes into the care centre is asked the question, what are your top 6? The Somerset My Tunes project. What are your top 6? Oh, wow, who is this woman? She is breaking down barriers. She is listening. I said to her, Carol, I am passionate. I love young people, year 13s. They are the most wonderful young people. How can we get them here involved? She said, well, Pauline, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I'm actually initiating a program with the local high school, and the year 13s are coming over here for a meeting next Wednesday. Would you like to come? I said, I certainly would. Well, it was the most marvellous meeting. These young people, 10 of them I think it was, want to go into aged care. One wants to be a chef, one wants to be a doctor, one wants to be an OT. And so it went on, and 2 of them said, what you want is easy. We could easily put playlists on phones for the people in care. Huh, wow. Well, I thought, right, phones, we all upgrade our phones at some stage. How can I get hold of these phones? Well, I need to advertise, and like most superannuitants, I can't do that. So it was like, how can I do this? By the end of that week, I was taking a wedding on Waiheke Island, and there were 9 ex-students at the wedding from my 1998 Year 13 class. Oh, it was magical. They were so excited about my project, because they always ask me, what project's on now? And they said, Pauline, we would be so excited to be in a community where we could get this out there. And then I was talking to the parents of one of those young men, and he said, Pauline, have you heard of the Foundation Trust? I said, never. He said, look, there's philanthropic trusts all over New Zealand. He said, this is, get it together, and this can happen. Well, then I got the call to say my friend was dying. So I was with her, and when the day came for her funeral, I always just wait quietly in the side room. And this new funeral director came in, and he said, oh, hello, I've come to introduce myself because I'm assisting today. And I've just arrived in this job. And I said, oh, really? What have you been doing? He said, well, I've had 30 years, can you believe it? 30 years in an IT technology company in Europe and Asia. I said, what did you say? Could you repeat that? And he said to me, it's so easy. You can see it there. It's so easy. This is no big deal. So then I thought, right, if I'm asking you to start a conversation, and in case you hadn't noticed, I am, I thought, right, off I go, my local community. So I walked around the mall, and I was, I know, never been in there before, but I walked into Kiwi Bank, and I said, oh, hello, do you think I could talk to the manager? Well, I spoke to this wonderful woman, and she was hugely excited. She said, Pauline, we would love to be a drop-off point. Now, we can only talk about us here in our community, not Kiwi Bank New Zealand, just us. But if this gets off the ground, we would be a drop-off point for all these used smartphones. And then I went to Vodafone, and Vodafone said, oh, we're very interested in our senior students. We'd do anything to help. And then I went to the wonderful Rotary, and they said, Pauline, we'd transfer phones from one point to another, and then they get back to the rest home where they collaborate with the senior students. I didn't plan any of that, it just happened. And it's very exciting, and that's why I hope you will start thinking about your local community and ask each other, what are your top 6? Before I finish, I just want to share this with you. For over 30 years, I've been following the life and writings of a wonderful person called Ram Dass. Some of you may know him as Ram Dass, but it's Ram Dass. A few weeks ago, Netflix released a half-hour video called Going Home. I urge you to have a look at it. Ram Dass is now 87 and has needed 21 years of full-time care following a near-fatal stroke. I share a few words with him from the Netflix video. Make friends with change. Death does not have to be treated as an enemy. Death is taking off a tight shoe so you can delight in life. Death is another step toward home. And I marry these words with the words of the great Irish writer, the late John O'Donoghue. Music embraces the whole person. It enhances the mind and heart, and its vibrations reach out and touch the entire physical body. Music is the surest voice of silence. Music freezes space to let in lightness. Music brings great beauty into our lives in the way that it lingers and vanishes. It offers us a clue to the eternal nature of beauty. It's as though music instinctively knows where you dwell and what you need. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Stephanie and her team for enabling me to speak to you today. I am quite sure that if I didn't have this project, I would have got extremely depressed the last 12 months in my isolation with chronic pain as they have tried to work out all the injuries. And I urge you to pass on to people who are in that situation of feeling so trapped, to find a project. I know it's difficult, especially when you're upstairs and you can't get down and you can't drive, but somewhere deep inside everyone, there's a project. Thank you for taking this out to the wider community. Start talking. What's your favorite music? What would you like playing when you're dying? Thank you.